Hello Georgetown, I'm Beverly Enos and this is Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays on your local cable station, and other times you will find us here and there, but Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays it's 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. This cable station is yours. It's for the town of Georgetown. So if you would like to become part of it, please let us know. You can come and learn how to use the cameras, how to do some editing. You can borrow the cameras. You can start your own show. They would love to see you come in and do that. So this is all for you. Now today we're talking to, let's see, it's Jim.
Yes.
Shalkoski. Yep. And we're going to be talking to Jim about his acting and singing and dancing and all kinds of things that he's doing for us. And he's a townie, so that's even better. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here. Now, how long have you lived, or did you live in town?
Lived in town. I think my family moved here when I was 12. We came to Georgetown, just from Rowley, so we didn't come very far. So I've lived in town most of my life, 12 years. But that's
Are you still living in town now?
Still in town. I'm still in town in between gigs now, right now. So I'm traveling all around. Occasionally I'll book a gig and then have to go down somewhere for a couple months at a time, and then come home for a couple weeks, and then go from there. But in general, yeah, in town. Yep.
Okay. Education. Once you left Georgetown High School, what did you do next?
Well, we went to Triton.
Oh, that's right, you went to Triton.
Triton. Triton High School. Then went to Salem State College in Salem, Mass. For a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Performance, and then also a unofficial minor in dance. They don't officially declare the minor with the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. And then after that, went on to Rutgers University, Mason Gross School of the Arts, to their MFA acting program. Did my 2 years down there, and then was living in New Jersey for a while, then back up to Georgetown here.
When did you begin acting?
Begin acting? I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine who's from town here. Last night was, I would say, 5th grade. 5th and 6th grade, I knew I wanted to get into acting. We began with the Royal Stage Ensemble, which we did plays right across the street here, right in the basement of the church.
Oh, they still do that?
They still do it. They still do it. It's a great start to a kid to get out there and start doing plays, and then you start getting more and more into it, and get bitten by the bug, and you.
What made you think you wanted to do something like that?
It was always something I always wanted to do. You get to be somebody else and create a whole other personality of yourself and try to do something different. It was just something that always spoke to me, that I always wanted to do, and listening to like great musical theater scores and great musical theater soundtracks, and falling in love with those shows, and then you move on and progresses, and they say it's a bug, and then once you get bit, and then you're stuck doing it. It's something that you just have to do.
Did you do other local theater as a kid?
I did Royal Stage Ensemble when I was in 5th and 6th grade. Then I moved on towards high school, and once I got to middle school and high school down at Triton, did all the shows through there. Then further on, towards the end of high school, I started working at the Firehouse Center for the Performing Arts in Newburyport, doing some of their musicals back when they used to do the bigger staged musicals, and then moved on to I did a project with the Wang Theater when I was a senior in high school.
And you took an award for that one.
Yes, the Young at Arts Award, which was very, very good. Actually ended up paying for most of my first year in college, which was
that's nice.
Yes, money. It's hard to find a scholarship for a theater actor. They don't exactly make a whole lot of those, but.
Now, did you have brothers and sisters here in town too?
Yes, I do. I have 2 brothers. I have a younger and a older brother. The younger brother is now back in town. My older brother lives out in Lake Tahoe and teaches snowboarding. And my younger brother is almost like a sports marketing agent, and he works down in Danvers.
Okay, Mom and Dad are still around?
Yes, Mom and Dad are still around. Yep.
Still here?
Still here.
Now, I got to watch you the other night, and this was before I even realized it, because my Netflix came in and I watched The Fighter. And that's probably what most people would recognize you the most from, other than you're actually a blonde.
Yes, actually a blonde, to a surprise.
But you have a show that you're doing, obviously, that requires
the darker hair. Yep.
So when I looked and I said, okay, when I went on the website, I went, I saw that and didn't even realize it was him. So that's what most people would recognize you from.
Most recently, yes, and by far the biggest publicity gig I've gotten. So much of acting comes down to dumb luck and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, how did you get that?
That was the way it works in the Boston area, at least, and I have found that I get more film work here in Boston than my friends do in LA, just because it's such a booming industry here right now, starting to really grow. That was right place, right time. They say, they put out a posting, who's available to work this day. You say, I'm available. You match the description. You have the look they're looking for. Then they call you in. Then once you get in, you have no idea what you're going to do. It could be 300 people there. It could be 12 people there. It could be 2 people. It could be anything. You have no idea when you're walking in, and they keep it very secretive until you actually get there, because they don't want unnecessary people showing up trying to take photos or sneak a peek at the magic behind the scenes. But that happened right place, right time, and right look, I guess. And
you were the prison guard.
Yes. The unofficial,
walking the brother.
Yes, walking Christian Bale as Dickie Eklund down the prison corridor. We shot for about 2 or 3 days of different scenarios of him going to prison, different parts of the prison, and then a couple of days filming that, and then a couple other scenes or other visitors come to visit him in prison. So it actually ended up being a very, very good publicity for that amount of, out of nowhere, you just say, okay,
and
wow.
It's fun. You do lots of other things, though.
Yes, I do.
Lots of other things.
Yes, lots of other things.
I was reading in part of your resume online, and you dance.
Yep, you have to be able to do everything. It's going to be
what kind of dance?
All different kinds of dance. Predominantly, the most common thing would be like jazz or ballet. Or I never really got into tap. I've always wanted to try tap. I should get into tap because a lot of shows require it. Generally, a majority of musical theater is going to be any kind of a combination of jazz or ballet. And then sometimes I did postmodern. Was a majority of my undergraduate was postmodern training with Caitlin Corbett and Dr. Jennifer Ewell. It was mostly it'd be the different kind of dance that you're not traditionally used to. They try to use the average-bodied person as opposed to the slim, slender ballerina that you picture. Yeah. Oftentimes, they actually have a hard time letting go of their training to do that kind of work. And then a little bit of, like you mentioned earlier, the La Capoeira, which I did for a good, I would say, maybe a semester in school, which is almost a Latin American art form of almost like a dance fighting. They do it on the beaches. It's very popular down there.
And it said that you did accents.
I can do many different accents and dialects. Irish is the most common, being blonde-haired or reddish normally. Irish is the most common, Boston, of course, and it all depends on what the role requires. You really have to be a Renaissance man because if it comes down to either you're going to do it or somebody else with the accent can do it, you're going to end up losing your job to someone that can.
When you were going to college, did they actually teach you accents?
Absolutely, yep.
They really do?
Mm-hmm. You have...
what kind of classes would you take?
Well, classes traditionally, if you're, as an actor, you have to learn, one, how to get rid of your own dialect, how to get rid of your own Boston dialect. So I'm not saying Boston all the time, because if I walk in and say, I'm from Boston, they're going to say, okay, we got to get this guy out of here. He can't sound like he's from New York or the Midwest. So you spend a lot of time deconstructing everything that you've developed as your own behaviors for speaking and learning the phonetic alphabet and how it's the same training you go through if you're going to be like a speech pathologist or learning how to
the elocution.
The elocution of it, or like an opera singer would have to learn. You have to learn the sounds that people make and how people make them, so that you can identify the sounds that you make wrong or the sound substitutions that you might do.
So a lot of actually learning body parts and physical part of it.
Yes, you have to know all the body parts and how you create the sound in your own body and your own mouth to create different sounds for dialects, and then all dialects are just substitutions of different sounds to make it different regional.
So they teach you accents and dance. And
yep.
When you go to a fine arts college like that, do you get a base education as
Absolutely. Well? For undergrad, for a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, your bachelor's is your basic, core.
Math, science.
Liberal arts. You still got to do your math, still got to do science. It sounds ridiculous. You're sitting in a, weather and climate or geology, and you're saying, I'm never going to know what calcite is, You never know. You never know. It's all about, and this is, I think, a testament to school and going to college, just being a well-rounded person, having that all-around education, because anyone that knows just acting, I really don't think would necessarily work too much, because you have to be an interesting and smart person.
The Joneses.
Yes.
This is a new movie.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about The Joneses.
The Joneses is an independent film, filmed in the area, a lot of it in Georgetown. I auditioned for it probably when I was 24, 25. I had taken some time off from acting and decided on a whim, I have to do something, I have to get back into it. And after working an overnight shift one night, stayed up until noon the next day and went into the audition and expecting, maybe I'll get a smaller part. But it follows the story of two couples who go on a Trading Spaces kind of a reality TV show, and one is not satisfied with the way their basement turned out, and it sparks a prank war, and the pranks they keep going and going and going, getting deeper and deeper until they go too far, and it becomes very, very dark, very, very quick, and ends up not quite being the movie that the audience is expecting it to be in the beginning. It's getting great feedback on it, so very excited about it.
How long did this film take to complete? How long is the film to start with?
Film runs, I would say, about 2 hours to 2 hours, 10 minutes maybe.
Like a regular film?
Feature length independent film, which is a very hard thing to do. A lot of independent makers tend to do shorts because they're easier to produce and easier to get out. This one, about 2 hours and 10 minutes.
And how long did it take to do all the tapings and editing and...
We probably did, because everybody's independent, everybody's got separate jobs or separate gigs they're working on. Being an independent film, we probably took us about 60 days of shooting, complete 60 days, spread out over the course of, I would say, about 6 months or so. Then having to go back and reshoot a couple things after post-production that either someone recanted their permission because they didn't want the product placement there, or... So
it's more to think about than just take a picture with the camera.
Yes, it's a lot of technical stuff. The stuff just takes a long time, and it's not. And it's like working on The Fighter or working on other films that I've worked on, Boston, bigger Hollywood films. It's the same way on every single level. Like, it takes a long time. A lot of people think they're going to walk in and see, we're going to see a movie shooting, but they'll be sitting around waiting for a good 3 hours sometimes while they just set up a shot. It could take hours just to get one shot done.
Now, how did the film arrive in Georgetown?
Georgetown, being
Georgetown is in another movie.
Yeah, being my hometown, we had rented a house in other locations for all the interior shots of these two couples who lived next door to each other in two houses. We rented a house in the Cape and had another house that we also rented to do all the filming inside, so we could just actually stay in the house and film for a week, weeks on a time, just straight, which is nice to be able to do. But then once we finished all that and we knew we had a really good product ahead of us, we came to the part in the time of the year, being spring, once all the snow melts, we needed to find someplace to shoot outside the exterior shots, and we start racking our brains. Where are we going to film? How are we going to pull this off? Are we going to have to rent a whole neighborhood? We don't have the budget for that because it's independent, and a lot of the stuff we're doing is they're donated. So I just had the crazy idea, and I mentioned it to the director, Chris Tyrell. I could ask my neighborhood, I'll ask my parents, ask my neighbors, see what their feelings are on it, because again, stuff takes a long time and can be longer than expected. But they were all very excited about the idea, and everybody was willing to pitch in and help out, and can't thank Georgetown enough.
So what street do you live on that we can expect to see in the movie?
Whiffletree Lane is definitely in the movie. That's where the two houses ended up being set. Rainbow Ridge Way, which is right off Whiffletree Lane. I think we might have gotten a couple shots throughout the town area driving around. I'd have to go back and look at all the footage now, but I know Whiffletree Lane, Rainbow Ridge Way are definitely in it.
So we'll recognize the streets.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And some of the neighbors, too.
In the film festival,
yes.
It's being shown now at the Boston International Film Festival. And how does the film get into the festival?
It's a long process. After doing months and months and months and years of post-production work, of editing and getting it down to what you really want it to be, which is key, and I think with this, they really took their time to do it. They have a submission deadline and submission dates where they say, okay, from this date to this date, it could be a course of 4 months, we're accepting films. And you submit it, and it costs money to submit, so you submit it to the festival.
So it's an application process.
It's an application process, and at the end of that, you don't find out until maybe not a couple months after the expiration date of the deadline. A couple months after that, you find out if you're selected or not. So it could be a good 6 months before you know. So you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and they go through. They said for Boston International, they took about I want to say around 2,600 films worldwide, and just your first person has to review the film. They'll have a body of people that review the film. They pass it up to the next person. They review whatever, get like 7 stars or more. Then it goes up to finally the head of the festival, his desk. Then he reviews the ones that he wants to see. So you're hoping that the right person sees it, that actually takes the time to sit through it.
And how many are actually being shown at the festival?
I don't know the actual number. It's only a handful. As far as feature-length films, there's probably, I want to say, between 12 and 20 tops for feature length. There's a good amount of shorts because you can show more. But as far as feature lengths, and I think we're the only one made in Boston. The closest we have is one that was made in Rhode Island as far as local films. So it's definitely an honor to be asked to the festival.
So this part of it for this movie is done for you?
Yes, that's different part about being film versus stage is film. You show up, you film, you're done, and then as an actor, it's hands off. You're worrying
somebody
about
else
it.
Edits.
Someone else edits, and you're hoping that whatever they do is going to look good, because then you're done. Your part of the job is complete. There's nothing else for you to do but wait.
Do you prefer that to live theater?
The waiting, no, but of course. Live theater definitely it's instantaneous, which is what's nice about it, because you walk in, you have an audience, and if you have a longer run, it gives you more time to play. You can try different things about your character versus film. You show up, you tape it once, and you're done.
Right.
You can try other things. You could say, okay, how did my character, what if I change his point of view in this situation, which within context of the director and who you're working with, it's not always good to change it up that much on the
But you get more feedback from a live audience.
Absolutely. Live audience is instantaneous. They're right there. And it's a lot, I think they find a lot of film actors, which is why you don't see a lot of them doing Broadway shows, so it's starting to turn over now, just because film is really a lot of it's the editor's medium. Yeah. The actor just does his job, and then the editor's the one that's really creating the art portion of it. So it's once you're hands off, you're done, versus the audience is right there, and you put those same actors in front of the audience, you have to be able to sustain that whole emotional journey you're going to go through for those 2 hours. And if that's not there, then the audience is going to get bored and lose interest.
So out of all the characters that you've played, what has been your favorite for live theater?
Live theater. That's a tough one. Right now I'm doing Hairspray, which is a very fun show. It just got released, so I'm doing it all over the country right now. Playing Corny Collins, that's definitely a fun character. Characters I haven't played, I would always love to do Streetcar Named Desire. That's one I have not done, but I'd love to do that one. Nicely Johnson and Guys and Dolls, I played that part. That was a good fun part. And of course, the Andrew Lloyd Webber series, though, all those shows are all phenomenal.
What's next for you? Actually, you probably have a lot of current things, but what are you looking more in the long term? Long term,
it's
still acting.
Still acting right now. I'm finishing up Hairspray right now. I've been going nonstop since January. I did Clue the musical, and then I'm doing Hairspray, which is one more weekend left. Potentially, I'm looking at going away to another theater. In another couple of weeks, it'll be for another couple of month run of a new musical. I can't really talk about too much because it's brand new. Still working on setting that up as far as the contract and everything like that. But
do you have a favorite theater?
Part of me is always going to be attached to the Firehouse Center in Newburyport. It's just a nice.
It's a nice
theater. I would love to see more stuff come up to there and more stuff out of there. You can only fit so much, but
right. It's not a big place.
It's not a big place, but I like the smaller venues a lot better because the audience is right there with you. And it's more of a intimate experience, I think, for everybody involved. Because the audience does definitely, in any show, change the actor's performance. So it's always fun when they're right there with you, and that's just such a nice little space right in downtown Newburyport.
And you're close to home. You can visit.
Yeah, exactly. It's right there.
You can get to see everybody again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else that you want to bring forward?
Jones's Watch For It. I mean, we're trying.
That's right. Now, on something like that, it's in the film festival, but will it be shown locally?
I know we'd love to do a local screening. It's a really hard game to play because we always wanted to say, because people say, when's the movie going to be done? When's it going to be done? When's it going to be done? And you have to tell them we can't show it yet until it has its festival premiere, because if they found out that you premiered it elsewhere, they might not want to take it because they want to say this premiered at our festival first.
Right.
They want to take ownership of it. So now Boston International Film Festival kind of takes ownership, saying we had the world premiere of The Joneses here. They're still submitting it to other festivals across the country. Where it goes from there, I don't know. You never. I mean, again, this is the actor's perspective. Is I have hands off. You just hope someone could see it and say, hey, I know it's happened in the past where they see it and they say, hey, this is a really good quality script. They may end up coming and wanting to buy it. They may want to distribute it, put it on Netflix or whatnot, or they may want to buy it for the sake of, I'm going to buy this from them, buy this product, and I'm going to remake it. And
so we never know.
You never know. You never know.
But if that happens, you'll let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll post it on the cable.
Absolutely. It'll be on Georgetown Public Access.
That's right.
Here.
Well, we'll post where it's going to be shown.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to get it on cable.
No, I don't think you could air it. It's a little risque for public.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This has been a joy.
My pleasure.
It's so nice to have somebody from Georgetown that has done so well and seems to enjoy it as much as you do.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I'm Beverly Enos, and this is Spotlight Georgetown. Bye for now.